Hey guys, Saturday, October 19, 2024. Let's see what the Black Widow may want to do next week. So far, it's been an interesting price dynamic with nat gas. I went long around the 15th, 14. Actually, no, it was 15. It was somewhere around 14, 15. I went long. I was holding at 42.49, and eventually that didn't play out, anticipating the 16 for a possible turn. So that went against me, and now I'm still on the sideline determining what how low the Black Widow wants to go. As you can see, the Elliott wave count has adjusted now. Instead of now it being a wave 3, which we had over here, I think it was like a 1, 2, 3, and we were working on a 4, and somewhere around this ballpark, working on our wave 5, but seasonality was kind of going against us because we were going down while seasonality was saying, yeah, you top around the 18 and also around the 12th of November. And then nat gas has a tendency to go down. Mind you, if you hear my son, he's playing Minecraft. But anyway, we are here. That looks like a 1, 2, 3, 4 would be somewhere around 235, 241. It would probably just be a little bounce if it happens, and then maybe push lower. What's interesting is that I know there's contract gaps here, change of contract or gaps, whatever you want to call it. So I know there's gaps down there that need to be filled. And it's very possible that nat gas on this run is going to fill it. But then I'm kind of mixed on what is going to happen here. But I have some, I'll show you in the other clip some things that maybe could play out. This is just probably an extreme move to the downside and maybe pop. But just looking at this chart, you want to keep an eye on the 28th, which pretty much is the last week of October. And then it goes up. Let's see, clusters, timing clusters. You can see that here, this is where I was leaning on. Things were lining up here, but didn't work out. There's one for the 25th, also for the 11 for possible, these are possible swing lows, 25th and 11. As you can see, the Stokes are at the bottom. As you can see, the Stokes are very good. They kind of tell you here, you're getting top, it came down, fail new, I look at it as like a fail new high, and that kind of lead with the peak here, came down. Over here, same thing, low, fail new low, pop. Now we got to the overbought zone. This was here, and when these are unwinded, this is where it came down. So I'll be watching to see, and also this may adjust too. If it's going to pop, it might probably adjust to a different count. But as of right now, it was a wave 5, ABC, and we're in a 3, and there's gap fills that I want to see if it's going to get filled. Let's go to the, let's see, there's anything else I need to show here? Yeah, so we are, in regards to the ellipse technique, you got the 21st and also 24 for possible high volatility, getting volatile. And this is targets if we were miraculously were to bounce up, this would probably be the target. And if it was to continue going down, this will probably be your target, anywhere between 173, 168, 163 in this zone. So if you are short, remain short because you are on the right side of the trade. The path of least resistance is to the downside. Now we consolidate from here, then be careful because it could probably, be something like this where it's just kind of like erratic and then it does this kind of move. So wait to see if it consolidates. But so far it's not consolidated. It's just going down until it finds an area where it then stalls. You can see some levels here, 220, also 216 as of right now. So let's go to the next clip to see if we get any clues there. Okay, so this is the master chart. We'll start off with neural net. So far, neural net didn't play out. There was a lot of things going on here with the Gann theory, the 16, 15, 16. There was a technique that I used, and that didn't work out. And you can see the neural net was it was a cluster there, and it didn't work out. And there's a sell signal around the 24th, and then this is a buy signal around the 14th of November. So these are the two dates the computer is saying possible turning points. Let's see how that plays out. And let's look at our Gann fans. So far, we failed the 1x2, 1x3 into the 1x2, and now we're in between the 1x1 and the 1x2 here. Going from the February 20 low, you can see that we failed the 45, which is the 1x1. So far, we cracked the 1x2, and if it continues pushing lower, grinding lower, your possible target would be the 1x3, and it all depends once it kisses it. We don't know yet. Once it gets there, then we'll see if it holds. But that's unknown now. In regards to the Gann grid, these lines right here, these are what I call vector points. These are energy points. There's something about it, I don't know. You want to call it weird or, whatever name you think is weird, give it to it. Things happen around these points. I call them, the energy points, mathematical energy points, but who knows? But it's a Gann technique and a Gann, theory that he, came across or developed himself. You see it worked out here. So you wait for the, whatever, there's a bounce into it, you short it, like there was a bounce here, you short it. This is the midpoint, and I'm trying to see how I scale this. And then you can see that it bounced from right here, went skyrocketing, and once we hit this vector point, you pull back, and now we're at this vector point again on the 18th. Is it going to be a bounce? We don't know. We'll see. I know it's in the other clip I'm going to show you. I'm kind of leaning there could be a bounce, but I'm not, I'm not like holding my breath. We'll see. Price action is king. I want to just see if price action is going to turn here, but I'm just showing you the pros and cons, the positives and the negatives. So far, this looks positive. We just got to see what Monday brings. Support wise, 223. You got the, you can say the 1/8 level. And then you have another support here at 207, and you're into a vector point where things could turn here, but it's unknown. So I'll leave it at that. Trend lines, that 45, you can see that we failed there. There's support here from these swing points. This is a 45 angle, so if it goes down here, this could possibly be support using a geometry. As you can see, using geometry right here, we failed. And nothing there. Let's see, what's that date? The 30th is pretty much the last month. Thursday, the 31st, that's EIA report. Advance and support, resistance support, 225. Keep an eye on that. This is from the swing point here. This is telling you important levels to watch, and this one worked out, 293, and then it failed. And now we're at 225, so let's see if this is going to hold. There's another one at 202, which kind of makes sense. Maybe it fills all the gaps if it gets down there. These are more harmonic points that are coming up, so 230 around, so there's a cluster there with the 128, which is this one. So those are the things I look for to see what's going to happen. Saw the next one will be 11.7. Nothing there for now. Retracement, from this swing here, you got the 38.2%, which is 216. We already cracked 234. And then a 222 from this latest swing point that we're in retracing now. So you got that one right there to keep an eye on. Let's see. I think that's it. Yeah, that's far away. We cracked the ellipse on this one. We're still in the ellipse between these swing points here. So we're in there. And lastly, this is into the future for next year. Let's go to the next clip. Hey guys, so this is the next clip where now we're focusing on the bigger fractal, which is the 144 low and the 1002 high. Looking at our Gann grid, there's nothing there for now. At the smaller Gann grid, within this range, you can see that we're coming up to November 11th. That's a Sunday, so maybe Monday, things could, if it continues going sideways to lower, maybe around, you could say Monday, the 11th, things could maybe turn. But we're way ahead of ourselves. We got to see what price action does this week. In the Gann fans, you can see that we are below the 1/8. So not looking too good. We're far from that one, which is the 1002 high. Nothing there. The ellipse, this is interesting. I wonder if this is the beginning of a move for the next 2 years for nat gas to grind higher. But that remains to be seen, but just kind of interesting. I want to see if this is a transition into something like that. We're here now. We need to hold. I don't mind little dips below the arc, but if we can maintain this arc, even with dips, this could be a nice trajectory into 2026. But we'll see. That's just something I just have there on my radar. Pitchfork, as you can see, we are back below this 363 high of 1027, and we're back in that angle. So we got to watch that. We got to break out of that. And we are below our angle here on the pitchfork from the February 20 low, 152. So not looking good. We need to gain that back and then continue grinding higher, maybe just oscillating like that, if it's going to do that, which is not, ideal if you have conviction. This kind of, scares the kids from, going long. And interesting, we're right here at this transition. This one, you can see that this is the 18th. Yeah. So this starts a new Gann grid from here. So I wonder what's going to happen Monday. It kind of reminds me of the ellipse. Not this one, but this one. When you have, time and measuring from different points, this one gave you this explosion using the ellipse technique. And this one now is giving you within the Gann grid, it's pretty much the exact movement from here. It's now here. So I want to see what's going to happen this week. It's going to be interesting. Nothing there. Again, you can see that we failed the 45. I know that. We're already by the 1/2. I showed you that earlier. And you're already seeing that on the fractal level, which was the video that we just saw that focuses on this area. In regards to channels, we're back to the midpoint. So from when these points, we're back to square here. And if we go down here, which could possibly happen, but we need to break out of this midpoint. And our goal is, if you're a bull, is to get to this channel over here. That would mean you would take out these highs, and then this would be something you need to be concerned, so you won't be too greedy. And once it kisses this, maybe lock in profits and let it stall, and then eventually, break above it, and then, resume the trend. And here's another one where we just failed here. So this is all open space. I could probably put a 25% right here, and maybe I'll find some support. Let's go to our last clip. This is we're going to be dealing with the cycles, and then I'm going to show you what I'm kind of leaning that could probably play out, but you know, I'm not 100% sure. It's like a 50-50 trade, but you have to watch price action from this time frame. Okay, so this is my natural cycle and Gann theory, some Gann cycles that I'm watching here. So this is the solar cycle. As you can see, this one was pretty good here and here. I mean, it came in early, but then it was telling you to go up, you know, but here, this is where it stopped working. So I'm not leaning too much on it. Only maybe there's an inverse trade here where it's going against the high, but you know, that's just speculation of mine. So I'm not leaning too much. You can see it just gets really choppy. So we'll see. But this is the one I'm leaning on. And this one, I feel like it's working a little more because it's picking, you know, the turning points. And it's not perfect, mind you, but it's kind of there. You just have to kind of anticipate the turn. So the turn could probably come in earlier here or could come in later. You can see that it came a little later, but was giving you heads up. And the same thing, vice versa. You know, there's a low. So, you know, bounce, fail new low. Even if you went long here and you had a wide stop, you were good. Although a scary trade, because when you see that thing going down, you're like, oh, I got to get out of here. The Black Widow's coming. But, you know, trading nat gas is not for the, you know, put it this way, it's not easy trading the Black Widow. So now we're in this point where if this is going to turn, it has to be around here with this cycle. Now, can it be right on the nose and turn? Yeah, possible. Can it continue and then turn? Very possible, because it did it here. Turning point was the 929. And the turn came in around, you know, October 10, the 3rd, the 4th, around there. So there was, you know, a couple of days before the actual turn, but it was giving you. So this is what I'm kind of leaning on, that maybe we are very close if it works out. If not, it will just consolidate, you know, once it, you know, if it fills the gap or somewhere around here, find support. And then when it's ready, it'll go. But this cycle is giving you heads up. We'll possibly turn here and then somewhere around December, which is kind of strange because typically nat gas between November, December is weak. So this is going against even what, you know, the Black Widow normally does. So, you know, I'm conflicted here. Is like, this is a really tough trade because you want at least things to go in sync. But like in most things in life, things just don't go together in sync. So you have to, like, you know, choose between, you know, is this cycle going to work, or is it just this is the peak into November and we sideways to lower when November and December. You know, this is it. This is what we got, and it's going, you know, down and sideways to lower. So we'll see. This is going to be interesting because this is going to validate if this cycle is really working really good, or it fell out of, you know, from working, and this is where it didn't work this time. So we'll see. So getting that out of the way, this is a Gann grid, big picture level, and I've been showing you that, and I showed you in the last clip that the 18th is an interesting vector point. And we're right there. As you can see, this middle line, this is where all the angles shoot out from both sides. So we're right here. There's no level here wise, but in regards to timing, it's going to be interesting. So I'm curious to see how this is going to play out. What I do find fascinating, I think I'm going to jump the gun, but I'm just going to show it just because I'm already in this mindset, or this, I'm in this thought pattern. Knowing that we're in this interesting vector point and that we have this cycle that I've been monitoring, giving me clues and not guaranteed, but just in case it's going to play out, I say, well, you know what? If there's high probability, we're probably going to turn around here in this ballpark. The Gann grid giving me maybe an exact day, or maybe a couple of days later, maybe 2-3 days later, or maybe just somewhere next week, maybe the next EIA report, and then follow this, is that the 20-year, looking back at 20 years, you can see that 20 years ago, around here, we got this massive spike, or this big just pop. 20 years ago, price and time. I mean, 20 years ago in regards to price action. We got this nice spike, and then it came right back down into November, which makes sense. So what was that high? So yeah, that makes sense for the October high being strong, and then going into November, and then it just kind of gets a little wild, you know, just kind of back and forth here. But this is all just speculation. If you do the 10-year here, 10 years ago, you can see that it continues going lower until like the 27th. Around there, which is a Sunday. So you probably look at Monday, 28th, maybe this pop. So this is what I was showing you. Let's get this Gann grid out of here so we kind of see it. So the turn came in around the 18th, 19, which the Gann grid, which I just showed you, which is this, which I call the vector points, energy points, where, you know, most likely the energy points and the vector points on the Gann grid are typically, the way I use it and the way I've seen it work in the past, is that normally if you're coming into it, you get like maybe a head fake, but typically is a reversal point now to go to the direction where you came from. So if you were going up and you hit this vector point, there's a high probability that from here you turn and go back down. So you go the opposite. So that's how I would use it. So it's just interesting to see that, coupled with the 20 years ago price action, where you get this nice pop into that. So I don't know, I see that kind of interesting, but we'll see how that's going to play out. Nothing is guaranteed. So either way, this cycle is indicating a turning point here, and the turning point 10 years ago came in somewhere around the 27th. So let's see. And then you can see that we peak here in this 10 years ago high came around November the 19th, and then they came tumbling down to like February. That was 10 years ago. And 20 years ago came down here into November, but then just kind of went sideways. And then from February, it started kind of grinding higher. All right, let's go into get this. Let's get this cycle. This is the one, like I said, I'm leaning on the most. Now, natural cycles, annual. The annual hasn't been playing well. So now this cycle is down and we're down. So let's see how that's going to play out. Using 3 years, you can see that it peaks somewhere around November 1st. And then this cycle goes down, or the seasonality, I would say natural seasonality, using 3 years worth of data. This is 6 years worth of data, and it peaks around the 18th. So we're in this ballpark where it matches my, I could probably call it the Gann cycle. LOV, if you want to say that, for the Gannists that are out there that know what that means. It's kind of in sync with the natural cycle. I mean, even the 3 year data one is in sync for a possible turning point here. So they're all kind of like in sync for a possible turn here. It just, we got to wait for price action to confirm that. The annual and the decimal, which is a year and also including 10 years, you can see that also includes that. And you're right at that ballpark right here where it happens, with this possible turning point. You know, it could be a dead cat bounce, because seasonality wise, I want you to remember that seasonality wise, from November to December, it's weak. So I'm not expecting, for it to reach the highs. It could, but naturally she could be a head fake for the bulls, and then she really gets all the bulls, going down into December. Now, what would void this is that, this year, with all these important timing points lining up, maybe she's going to ignore the seasonality and then do her thing and then continue grinding higher. That's different. Because then I could say, it's like, wow, normally she's weak November and December, but she's totally ignoring that and she's just grinding higher. Like she probably wants to go all the way to 315 to 363. So that's different, but we don't know that yet. But we're in the early stages to find out. So I just want to make sure that, at least you're aware of that seasonality wise, she's weak, but there's things also cycle wise that, she could continue going higher. So it's a thing of monitoring her daily and just kind of tracking her movements with all these, with these analysis and techniques and see where she could possibly go. So we'll see. There's anything else I need to show? I think I showed you everything I wanted to show you. Sorry if it was a long video, but I haven't been posting every day, so I feel like I make it up on the weekends, and then you guys could kind of get food for thought, think what's good, take the good, take the bad, and, trade from there. But all I'm going to say is if you are short, you are doing great. Because I was short, and then I started going long on the 15 around 249, and then that didn't work out because we were at that midpoint. And I wanted to show the last clip, which is on my I'm gonna show you the last one, and then that's it. Okay, this is the last clip, I promise. If you made it this far, you definitely a loyal fan, or you just love, I don't know, maybe Gann theory or technical analysis. You're a hardcore fan. Because if it was me watching someone do this kind of stuff, I'll be like, I want to watch more. I hope he continues. But, I digress. That's just me. I'm hardcore into this kind of stuff. So anyway, this is my Andrews pitchfork. As you can see, we failed this key level here. And I was long from right here and then got stopped out around here. This is 249. Yeah, that's where I went long and was holding overnight, which is a 15. And then this was when this move, which was, what is it, the Thursday, the 16th? I can't remember what day was that, but then this move came and I got stopped out. So let me see just something real quick. Yep, so if you move that pitchfork, that could be probably your next support if we get down there. So maybe we could just leave it there for now. Next thing will be our channels. Within the channel of these swing points, we're entering your midpoint. So you can see that we failed all this, and now this is your important line right here, this green one. So let's see if that's going to hold. In regards to the FT levels, we are right in this ballpark. So we failed this one, which was between 238 and 239. Now we're in between the 225 and 228 zone. And it stalled right there. So I want to see, because if there is a turn, it should probably happen around here in this ballpark. It'll probably chop around here, oscillate, and when it's ready to do it, it'll go. But if this doesn't hold, it's either bear trap and then snap back up, or could probably gravitate to this FT level. But that's all speculation. Gann fan retail style, you can see that they noticed that we failed here, pushing lower. So retail will probably be looking, if they just use this indicator, somewhere around here for possible support, which would be somewhere around, you could do the $2-ish level. Let's see. Gap fill. There you go. 208. Let's make this bigger and smaller. So these are the gap fills that I've always been concerned about. So if we turn here, maybe it doesn't, but maybe in the future we fill them up. I guess measure moves going down. We already failed, and so you can see that there was one right here, measured move around 247. We took out all these. The next one, this one timing wise is the 18th, but they really, I mean, it gets ugly, way ugly, into down here. I mean, there's even one that goes all the way to test the lows right here. Nothing promising there because they're pretty stretched out. Trend lines, there's some right here. Let's see. I guess I go straight to this, to what I wanted to show you. Swing chart. So I don't know if you remember this, but I was thinking this is a wave 3 going into wave 4 in this ballpark. You can see that didn't work out. But timing wise, I had the 1018. And this is a Gann technique that has nothing to do with the Gann squares. So the Gann squares are independent from this. This is just a technique of Gann. But the way I've been doing my analysis and my research and trading is that when I see these things all line up, I think there's some value there. And I've traded in the past, not this technique, but when techniques line up where there could be a high probability where there's a turning point. And this is one of them. And I showed you what 1018 means on that gas on different techniques and different charts. So you just have to go back and look at it. Is this the low? Or do we just go sideways? All those things are possible. What will avoid, possible turning point here is that it just continues grinding lower and retest these lows at 152. That's the only difference. That way you say like, yeah, that didn't work out. But we will see if this one works out. This is one of the Gann's techniques that I use. If it's not the 18, I have the 27 and then the 31st. So these are two independent dates that I'm watching. So you can put that on your sticky notes too. In regards to the SO date, this is your 50%. 2 days later, then it continued crashing. Took out the 2/3, pushing lower, and now we're entering the 3/4, which is October the 20th. Which will be, you can probably say maybe the 21st, Monday. See, maybe we turn here. So my thinking with this technique is that if we went to the halfway point, went 2 days extra to trap more bulls, and then slammed it down. And if we turn here, which kind of lines up with the 18th and the 3/4, we end up with a high November the 7th, around there, if it's going to play out. So that's that chart. And if we, November 7th, you even pass these dates right here. And there's that 220 level I'm watching also. This one worked out, the $3. Bounced off to 259, 220. Interesting to see if that's going to play out. But yeah, so this is that chart I was telling you for possible turning point, which lines up with the 3/4 that I'm watching right here. And maybe this could play out because I know my cycle, which is that red projection line, goes up. I just can't remember if it starts stalling on November around there, but I know it goes up and then it starts kind of stalling and then it goes down. So that's kind of what I'm kind of seeing. All right, I know I made this video too long, but I'm making up for the whole week. So if you made it this far, You get a prize. No, I'm joking. I don't have any prize. I don't have anything to sell. I just love what I do. I'm going to sign out. Hope you like this video, and I'll keep you posted on my thoughts on that, guys.